Welcome back, family. We are here in the middle of the day on a Memorial Day, so we can record it, get it out a little sooner to you, hopefully. The review of the Covrprice weekly top 10 list, or as we're going to call it this week, the top Spider-Man book list. Yeah, because 8 out of the 10 are spider-related. Yeah, well, look, we're less than a week away. We're a few days away for the release of Across the Spider-Verse, so everything is going to be spider-related, which means everything is going to be out of proportion as far as price. This is the world we live in. Okay, coming in at number 10, Marvel Superhero Secret War number 8. The first appearance of the black costume. Well, it's the origin of the black costume. This book actually came out on the on the shelves a few months after Spider-Man 252. But this gives the origin of where the symbiote came from, which in essence is kind of like the real origin of Venom in a roundabout way. This is a key book in most people's collections. This is not a sheet book. 8085, I mean, especially the direct sales, even though people were buying books from comic stores back in 1984 when this came out, they were still opening them up and reading them, so mine did not last. I think I've got one, I think it's a 9.2 or a 9.4. I know I have a 252 and a Secret Wars number 8. 9.2, 9.4, I don't remember which one is which. I mean, this is not a book that is going to drop like a stone. It's going to have a little bit of a downward after the Spider-Man, but then the next Spider-Man movie that comes out with Tom Holland, especially if they bring in Venom, is really going to shoot this one back up. It's a long-term book that you want to get in your collection. It's not bad. This is probably not exactly the right time to get it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I rearrange the books on my back, and this book will be up there. Okay, it's a book that I'm very proud to have in my collection and will show it off. All right, coming in number 9. I think that this book is on its way down. I think it's still going to have some long-term investability in it, but I don't think the prices are really going to go much higher than they are now. I'd wait on it. A lot of people just want to have that book because it looks really nice. I'm thinking Raw is probably going to hold 50 to 60. Maybe at some point I'll get myself a copy. We'll see where the 9.8s come out because I'm sure they're going to be swamped with them in CGC. Don't buy the first round that come out from CGC because those are going to be the people that spend extra on the fast track just to try to take advantage of a volatile market. Speaking of a volatile market, we have the Spider-Man number 7 second print 1 in 25 virgin variant of the Humberto Ramos. It looks like we've got 9.8s already hitting the market. The last sale being $266. I'm sorry, we don't even know if this character is going to be anything. I mean, you think about the Goblin Queen, you think about Chasm, you think about Tosin, you think about Punchline, all these characters that people blew up when they first appeared, and they're all hoping for the next Miles Morales. The next Miles Morales is going to be a character that sneaks in under the radar and becomes popular. Like, wait, where's his first appearance? Why didn't I know about this? That's what makes it valuable. Not when everybody in the world owns 20 copies. So, yeah, I don't know how many of the first print were actually made, but I know that it was a secret variant, and a lot of times people on a previews guide don't buy the ones that they can't see the artwork for. Just by the second print down, everybody's like, I got to get the second print. That's going to explode. So enough of these were ordered by stores that there should be a lot of the 1 in 25 virgin variants out there. It does hit once in a while. I mean, I got the Timeless Miss Minutes one. I still think it's got more to come down, though, this book. Number 7. Web of Spider-Man, number 1. They have in the parentheses a direct edition, but I'm sure that if you had a newsstand, it's not going to be working against you. From 1985. First appearance of the Vulturions, or something like that, if I remember correctly. Vulturions, yeah. Let's see, we got 165 for a 9.8. It's really not that much for a 9.8 of a book that is coming up on 40 years old, where The Amazing Spider-Man and Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man would be the first two. This is a book, actually, that I always wanted to have in my collection. Now, I'm trying to see what sales have been. I should just click on sales data. I mean, I see what the sales are recently. What were they a month ago? Yeah, I see a couple of weeks ago, 135, but then before that, 179, 165, 229 back in April, 215, 205. Looks like it's actually dropped since April. So, again, this is another one of those very identifiable covers. You don't have, if you see it on somebody's shelf, you don't have to like get close and read to see the what book is that? Oh, that's Webb Spider-Man #1. I remember that book. Him with the black costume. It's pretty still early at this point. This is April 1985. Remember, Secret Wars #8 was December of '84, so this is only 4 months afterwards. A lot of copies were printed, I'll tell you that. So, but I don't know how long this series actually lasted. Issues. 11 years. So, I mean, it had some legs. If prices really are down right now since April, for a 38-year-old book and a 9.8 cost you in the 160s, I don't think you can go really wrong with that. If you want to try to save a little bit more money, wait till a month after the Across the Spider-Verse is out. Don't wait until you get a trailer for the next actual Spider-Man movie. The one thing that might work against you is if actually the Volturions do show up in Across the Spider-Verse, and it looks like they're going to continue in canon. If there's a one shot, they appear and then they disappear, or they're killed, then that's not going to affect the value. Okay. Number 6. Oh, cool. A Spider-Man book. Amazing Spider-Man number 365. And this is all being driven because $20.99 is, according to the trailers, kind of looks like the bad guy, but I got a feeling it's not going to be. I think he's just going to be like the most responsible. So we got last sale of a 9.8 at $255. That looks like it was yesterday. Fair market value $227 for a 9.8. Again, not a super high price for a 9.8, but look at that 9.6 price. $60, $65. Such a massive drop off there. Now, you got that hologram on the front. Yeah, so getting a 9.8, I guess, is not going to be the easiest in the world. But if you can see a 9.6 with Grader's notes of like, crease does not break color, then crack and repress that damn thing. I've never been a fan of this cover. Yeah, and I had this book and I put it in a grab bag. I didn't care. Yes. So and I don't know what the significance of the other 3 are. If there's any, I don't like hologram covers. I'm not a big fan of the lenticular one either. But this is all being driven because of the movie. This is like the worst time possible to buy this comic book. And I don't think $20.99 will be moving forward in the Spider-Verse. So we have finished off half of the list, and we finally get to a book that is not spider-related. But it's a Why Is This Still Here book. Ghost Rider number 28, first appearance of the Midnight Suns and Lilith, I think you told me. Second week in a row this is on the list. Current trend is up 143.92%. Oh, that's a raw. Because somebody sold a raw for $96. Why would you spend $96 on a raw when the average price for a 9.8? I mean, well, I think this raw will be a 9.9. Yeah, I think. Well, isn't that the quack they're calling the stifling slimy? I'd still be shooting. I mean, if you want to have this one, it's a nice looking cover. It's a book that up and down, up and down. I'd wait for it to go down and try to find a 9.8 around the $75, $80 mark. I mean, even if these characters are going to show up in Blade, there's a writer's strike going on right now, and they haven't finished writing it. They're rewriting it, if I'm not mistaken. So, first off, they're rewriting, so you might not get the character. And even if you do, we're still a good 2 years away before the trailer drops, probably. This book will come back down. It always does. Number 4, the only other non-spider book. We have Ambassadors, the Millar book. And they've done 3 printings on this. Make sure that if you are buying one, you know which printing it is. It's all the color of the word Ambassadors on the cover. Yes, red is the first print. Blue is the second print. White? That's right, it's not. Bad cover price. Bad cover price. But Vibrant Red is your first print. I almost grabbed a second print by mistake the other day, too. So it was cover price, and they had a stack of them. It's only selling for $6. Again, word of mouth is what's driving this, and that is exactly how Something is Killing the Children got started. Lower printing. Everybody said this is a great story. Everybody's saying it is. You know, the Ambassador is a great story. You got to read this. Everybody wants to get it. So if it gets optioned and it is a great story, this is a great book to get. But now you got to watch out for what you're actually paying for. It looks like average sale of Raw is still $12, 10 to 12. Yeah, not at all. Millar Books, he has written a lot of great stories, and if it's, you know, I think everything Millar is automatically optioned. So if they decide they want to cultivate it into a show, which I think this, from what people tell me, this can actually translate pretty well into a show. It has some really good up potential. Let's say we get back to Spider-Man. Yeah, right. Coming in number 3, Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man from 1995. I think this might be because in the movie, Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man. No. From November 1995. Now, I know a lot of times I will see a book like this, and I'll go and I'll check the census on 9.8s that sell for $199 from the last one from April 21st. And I'm like, oh, people say there's only 4 on the census. I'm like, that's because prior to this, in the last 25 years, nobody thought anything of this book to even bother getting it graded. And once the hype is over, it's going to go back into the dollar bin box. So, but I don't think this is a good book. I don't even like the cover art, to be honest. Coming in at number 2, Spider-Man 2099, number 1. This is his first solo series, I guess his second appearance after the Amazing Spider-Man 365. Yep. And I've got a copy of that, which looks really good, which I've been meaning to send in for about a year. It's still sitting on my maybe list. No, it's not too late. Half the books in here I have way past their prime. But I was never overly enamored with the character. This was, I think, the beginning of Too Many Spider-Men, which is like on steroids these days. But this is a book that is only driven for the movie that's coming out next week, and I don't think this character is going to have legs going forward after the movie. I'm not saying he's going to die. I just think he's going to serve his purpose. And if it does fall quick and hard, and then they announce that he is coming back, then unless they do it in the end credits, you're going to have a window you can pick this up later. To me, this is like the Spider-Man version of Ghost Rider number 28. And this is right now the highest point. So, I would avoid it. And number 1, my God, this has got some legs, man. It's got some legs. Spider-Man number 7, the Humberto Ramos Top Secret Spoiler Edition, first appearance of Spider-Boy with Spider-Boy on the cover. We have the most recent sale of a 9.8 at $109. So it dropped down to like the 105 to 115 range and is not dropping any further. It seems to be holding at that point. That's the other thing, is this market is not the strongest. And if it's, when the market does get stronger and if the character does take off, this book has a lot of room to go up. I don't think it's going to go down any further than this. You're looking at Raws around the $35 mark. That's the most common, it says. And the last sale, like I said, of 109 with a fair market value of 126 for a 9.8. I'm surprised the cover A has fallen off the list. If you've waited for the price to come down, this might be as far down as it does come. Spider adjacent, yes, but not Spider-Verse. And God forbid there is any kind of a cameo of Spider-Boy in the movie. Forget it. Animate a couple of panels and sneak them into one of the big fight scenes. That's all you need, is for somebody to like, hey, wait, frame by frame by frame, that's Spider-Boy. It's not a bad one, no. I think it can come down a little bit more, as you said, Spider adjacent, but if you've waited for it to come down, you might be getting close to that bottom of that valley. You might want to start looking. All right. Gun to our heads. All right, this is a segment where we have to pick one book on this list that we would buy based on current prices that have the best chance of being worthwhile in the future. Based on the fact that in the last month the prices have come down, and this is a book I've always wanted to get in a 9.8. I'm actually going to start actively shopping for a Web of Spider-Man #1 in a 9.8. Yes, and if I happen to find at that, the prices that I've seen for the last month, it's an iconic cover. I know they printed a lot, but a 9.8, it's something I've always wanted. That's what I would go for. I don't see a lot of upside in the future. It's going to slowly go up. It's not going to have any tremendous jump ups. But again, it's a cool cover that just looks good in somebody's collection. And right now it's pretty affordable. All right, so let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We want to know, what do you feel about this top 10 list? Are we missing the mark on some of these, or are we spot on? And what is your gun to your head pick? Are there any books that you think that should be on this list based on what you've seen in your LCSs? So, let us know. Drop a comment down below. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, because that really helps the algorithms. Help us reach more people. And click on those notifications so you know when more videos are going to drop. Feel free to join us on our Patreon at Patreon Team Ohana. Feel free to check us out on our podcast, which is also Team Ohana on any streaming service. We have Team Ohana Family on Instagram, and we also do have an Etsy store where we have some t-shirts and some hats for sale if you'd like to support the channel. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Until we see you in the next video. Mahalo.